So, Greg, we've met back in 2012, first time in Tarnoff. I remember I was chasing you for a quick interview. And one thing which I said to yourself, which I think caught your attention and you've just agreed for an interview was, Greg, you know how to achieve goals and this interview is my goal. And I remember having 5 minutes of your precious time. So since that, I've been really grateful for it. Then back in 2013, you spent with me probably about half an hour. And since that, I've been just speaking to people, and I wrote it down that one day I will be working with yourself. One day I will be working with this team. And since that, you've been in a team, you left, and now you're back. It's wonderful to have you back, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people can actually confirm that. So,
thanks.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for taking your time for this quick interview. Just first question. Where do you see yourself from this point of your life? Because as much as I know you and as much from our conversation, you still feeling like you just started, you're hungry for racing. Where do you see yourself from this point?
Well, I mean, looking at it from that point of view, I am still very hungry, and I look, I never plan my retirement. I never plan how far I'm going to go. All I know that all the time that I feel the desire to race, the desire to win, and most importantly that the rest of me can stay in one piece and in good shape, I go.
Yeah.
I want to race. I really love what I do, more than people know, and that's the only reason I'm just sitting here, right? But when I'm racing, the only thing I want to do is be the best. So the day that I don't believe that I can be the best, that's the day that I hope that I'm true to myself, will take the step to stop competitive racing and move on to other things.
You use the word desire more than goal or sort of something small to achieve. Desire is quite big, isn't it? Desire is more like you feel like that burn, that itch, that you want to do that.
Sure.
So what really means the desire? When you started your journey with Speedway, so were you thinking that you're going to achieve what you achieved, or was it just like an enjoyment, just want to have fun, just want to do something I'm passionate about?
Well, I wouldn't do it just for the fun. However, the desire that I had to pursue a career in speedway racing came from a very young age, surrounding myself with, whether I surrounded myself with certain people on purpose or I had the opportunity to be surrounded by a lot of these people as well. They gave me the interest and the motivation and the desire to follow my dreams. And of course, my biggest goal was to be the world champion. I still have the biggest goal to be the world champion. It doesn't matter if you've done it or you haven't done it or how many times you've done it. If I'm going to be racing, my goal is to win the world championship. And all my league racing, people try to differentiate the leagues with the teams. I mean, with the individual success that I'm going for. But for me, on a personal level, I just want to win the world championship.
Yeah.
When I come to a team, I'm with the team. And together we win. I can't win the team races by myself.
Absolutely.
We need 7 guys to win. We need good management. Some days you only need 4 guys to win, and some days you need 6 guys to win.
Yeah.
But together we have to help each other. One day I might have an off day, 2 other guys have a great day. It doesn't matter. The team won, and that's what happens. So.
As you said there, team is really important, but you have that, you don't separate the individual competition or the team competition. You always have to give your best. You didn't even say that you want to win. You said you have to give your best.
Yeah, sure.
What difference does it make?
You say that too.
Yeah. What difference does it make?
Well, I think we're all different as individuals, and for me, of course, I want to win. But I know that there's a lot of, you're going to lose a lot before you win. And a good winner, I think, truly is a good loser, and that's been said to me in the past, and I've thought about it and trying to figure out how does that really work. A good winner is a good loser, but I know now because I've been all over the board. I've had the whole spread, right? And I used to be an angry loser and so frustrated and why you're trying to fix it, but then again, surrounding myself with good people. I've had a few sports psychologist type people that I've worked with, been fortunate to get a few really good tools to use, but more of it I've really learned from following my heroes and guys that I really like. And some of those guys, the names for me are the ones that are good with the crowds, they're good with their sponsors, they're good with the media, and they're good at what they do. So for me, I'm a nice guy, and I talk to everybody, and I have time for everyone.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to business and racing, I want to win.
Yeah.
I might lose the heat and I look like I've got a smile on my face, but inside I'm burning up. There's a lot of fire going, and I've really found the way to just, turn that into positive energy, and I've used it because I don't want to show people around in my competition that I'm angry. I want to show them that you got me, but I'm going to get you back.
Yeah.
And that's how I play.
And you know what? It's quite a few good points, and more than two good points, but the two good points which I can pick up from what you said now is, when you show to somebody, at the end of the day, it's not that person's fault, isn't it, that they have to sort of pick up your negative energy. It's to learn how to turn that negative situation to positive, to realize, okay, that's past. Now, it's now, and whatever happens in the future is because of how I react to it now. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, for sure.
So, seeing even...
And everybody has a different situation or case scenario.
Yeah.
That you have to find your way, but what you just said is spot on.
Well,
for me,
one of my favorite sayings and quotes was, the same wind blows on everyone.
Right.
So there's 5 riders in the race, and I've seen a situation, you probably experienced that before you realized what's going on. You had a winner, you won a race, and you were not happy about that race.
Right, exactly. Right.
You got 1 point or came last, and you were so happy for your, the way you fought it, the way that the whole race went. Again, maybe you can't put the 3, you put a 1 or 0 next to your name, but then again, the satisfaction out of it.
Sure.
And I think when you look at that sentence, the same wind blows on everyone. If you don't like it, that it blows on your face, turn around.
Yeah.
If it blows towards your back, turn around if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Would you agree to that?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Here's a question I wanted to ask you for a long time. What do you think is the sort of most damaging, sabotaging, losing, or when you put yourself in the position when you ask yourself a question, what's next? What's more demotivating?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Demotivating is a word I've never actually used or heard.
Okay.
In that manner. So,
something which will sort of turn things to really doubts and, sort of put you off. Maybe that's the best way to say it. Losing a match, a race, a heat, or getting yourself to the stage that you'll ask yourself, okay, what's next for me?
One heat, one loss, or whatever it is, doesn't affect me in that way at all. That only motivates me to fix it.
Yeah.
If that happened time and time and time again, it's hard to put a number on it. But if I had one night of racing like this and I scored 1 point, then I've got questions.
Yes.
Because that's not me.
Yeah.
So either we had some serious problems with the bikes, or I really had a bad day, and I normally don't have that bad of a day. I can have an off day.
Yeah.
But
you're a human being.
Yeah. And I understand that. And again, this is, obviously I'm 47 years old. I've been and seen a lot and been through a lot.
47 years young.
Exactly, 47 years young. which I'm always good with, but we're younger than most of them, right?
Absolutely.
So, and probably one of the greatest things is that I learned from is I've also been through a divorce, and a divorce is probably one of the more challenging things too, because you're trying to figure out who you are. So is it my fault? Is it her fault? Is it their fault? Is it, then you understand it takes two to tango, right? And
Yes.
there's always three sides to this, every story, mine and yours and then the truth. So, and it's through the people that I spoke to, and which was only a couple of times throughout my divorce, which I've never really spoken about this before, but
No.
it's nothing new, and people
Yeah,
go
yeah.
through it every day, right? But the biggest thing I learned from it was I learned something about myself, and that it's okay to do things the way I do it, but it's how you address it and how you put your you get through it and you go
Yeah.
forward. And I can sit and think about everything that happened yesterday and think about it and think about it, but that's not going to make it better tomorrow.
No.
I can actually go, you know what, I really made a mistake, but how can I make it better?
Yes.
Maybe it wasn't bad, but it wasn't really good. How can I make it better? That's what I got out of that, and I've applied that to my whole life and racing since then, and everything has turned around.
Do you not think that a lot of young riders, they never put themselves through the question, what can I make better out of the yesterday, or how can I become better? It's more like they focus on how bad things were,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the day, the longest or the most communication we ever have with other person, it's really with ourselves. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
The most communication we have throughout the day, it's with our own selves.
Oh, yes.
So the quality of
I gotcha.
the information, the quality of the message we pass to our own brain, really, or
Mhm.
mind, I would say, reflects the quality of our actions. So if you think, if your focus is on how bad things were, and instead of the way you said, how can I make it better, or how can I take more or better out of the whole situation. So when you think about it that way, I think it's quite damaging, isn't it? When especially for younger riders.
It can be very damaging, and we had this small discussion earlier too, that the young riders, they're obviously trying to find their way forward all the time,
Yeah.
whether it's with just their equipment and what they're doing, or just where am I in my racing, and they get so angry and they get so frustrated, and in many ways that's youth. They have to go through this no matter what you tell them. It's just like being a kid growing up and your parents telling you to put your shoes on this way and to brush your teeth and do that and do that, and in the end you're so tired of listening to it, you're like, what do you know, that
Yeah,
kind of a thing. But at some point I believe that people have to go through a certain period before they're ready to, I got it, now it makes sense.
I think personally that a lot of youngsters in speedway, in any sport really, they trying to go and take a shortcut,
Sure.
and I don't think there is a shortcut for success. Would you agree to that? 'Cause, you've been racing for 30 years. Would I be correct? 30
Easy.
couple
Yeah.
of years. Yeah.
And I took a lot of shortcuts, but that's probably why I'm still racing at this age, because it took me a while to find out that the shortcuts weren't always the way to go.
Well, exactly, and I think one of the most important things for the young generation is to realize that they should take a responsibility, and every single defeat and bad day is actually for a reason, to build their character. Because if they win a match, if they win a race, they will never learn. If that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. For
You know,
sure.
they will celebrate, which obviously is something we want to see, we encourage to see. But the defeat, the difficult situation builds your character. So, can you remember any situation that you actually can say that was character building when you were actually a young rider, just at the beginning?
Without a doubt. I mean,
Was that yesterday then?
it wasn't that long ago. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I can think back and remember various moments in my career, numerous moments where you've been questioning yourself and this and that and angry, and then realizing that, you know, somebody will put a wise word in your head, and it's just whether you're ready to hear it or you're not. Sometimes you're just not ready to hear it, and it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you've raced a bike before, or if you've never raced a bike, or what you've done, how successful you've been. It's just if they're not ready to hear it, then it's really difficult to get there. And I remember being there, and then suddenly one or two people you look up to give you that word, and it's just someone that you respect, or they said one thing that made you go,
I get it. Yeah.
I get it. And that happened to me. And it's happened numerous times since, because you're thinking you got it going and someone says something and you go, and it was more like, not like an angry, but it's like, huh. And then you go home and you sit on it and you think about it, and it's pretty impressive.
So now I know why you reacted like that when I was talking to Luke. Now I know what that Luke's means. When I was saying to Luke that forget about the first race, second race, it's what happens now.
Sure.
And you came to us and you
Look
had
at
that
that.
Luke. Okay.
And you think, I've heard this before too, you know? That's 2 times. That's got to be some sense in it.
Absolutely. But Greg, do you think that somebody who can bring that mind training side of it, and obviously mind sessions with the Speedway riders, no matter what age they are, do you think that is something that should happen, should be used, or stay away from it?
I don't think you should stay away from it at all. I say you, but people shouldn't stay away from it, because perhaps you know, being in the position that you're in, for instance, you know, obviously we've had quite a few conversations over the years, but it's a matter of the guy that I looked up to the most. It was a Swedish guy, so his English was slightly broken, but he didn't try to get into me. He was just there, and he was just around, and he just watched, and he figured me out, or figured he saw something that obviously was bothering me, so he just played it, and it was just the guy just made one comment on the side that made me go, and I didn't, because I watched him work with a lot of guys, and I'm always skeptic, or I was always skeptic, of this guy's trying to get in my head, this guy's trying to get,
Okay.
back in the day.
Yes. Yeah.
Until this guy, and it made me like, wow, I like this guy. And it's probably because you have such a big guard up inside. You think you got so much power and you can do this on your own. I can do it. But in reality, some people can. Some people are just, their makeup is just natural, and it just goes. They don't need.
And I think especially with Speedway, when you start as a young, so you're racing a bike with no brakes, sometimes 100 kilometers an hour or even faster, and then you sort of become more.
Sounds great, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, it does.
Yeah.
It does, especially for a young guy. Like when they sort of, people around them, probably parents or something, they saying, don't do it, you're going to hurt yourself.
Sure.
But they want to be sort of, in your teenage age, you're trying to go against every adult, giving you some kind of advice. And I think it's that kind of stage. But then, as you said, you need to grow to a certain level that you hear something and you're like, that could work.
Yeah.
That's something I was looking for. But you need to get ready for that. Greg, we're going to have the whole season. And to be fair with yourself, as I said, it's been my desire to sit down next to you again. And even though, be a part of the team. So, it's great to have you.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. It's great to have the opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, it's great to have an opportunity to interview you again. This also goes live on a Facebook.
Fantastic. Even better.
So,
hey, people.
Are
we here? I'm
phone.
sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry.
Hey, people.
So, a lot of people have been waiting because obviously they've heard that I've interviewed yourself and how passionate I've been about having the opportunity to work with yourself and being within the same team. But again, thank you so much. Thank you for giving the pleasure of watching you today, standing next to you and cheering you. Looking forward for next races.
Absolutely. We're lucky to have a guy like you around for when hopefully we don't need it, but probably we do.
Well,
Everybody
thank you so
can
much for
use
that.
it.
Appreciate it, because it means a lot. I truly believe, and you might agree or not, and it's not about just myself. I just think that no matter what level you are as an athlete, if you're successful, you want to know why you're successful.
For sure.
First of all, you learn how to turn that switch on and just become successful. So don't bother your mind with how it happened. But then you want to know, because you want to go to the next level.
Absolutely.
So hopefully, there's where I could help.
I'm quite sure you can, and you're going to learn all these guys as you go along, and you're going to find their points that can probably be improved, or just to help them to discover themselves and make them better individuals.
I think even today was a huge lesson for me, because I could see a couple things that I can work on, but
Sure.
This is for good of the team.
It'll happen.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Thank you again.
Thanks again, man. You got it. Thanks, Norik.
Cheers.